So it's Wednesday evening and it's Photographic Club night. As you can tell, I'm walking in the dark, so whether you can see me or not, I don't know. Just making my way up to club now, and tonight we've got a experiential evening where we're going to photograph wire wool effects, where they light the wire wool and spin it, etc. Now for me that'll be interesting, but I've had quite a few experiences of photographing fireworks that'll be very similar. And as you can tell, I'm out of breath because the walk up to Camera Club is all uphill. But that is great for when I'm coming home and it's all downhill at about 10:30. It's also very cold, but the trouble with fibromyalgia is I have trouble regulating my temperature. So I have to juggle weighing too many layers that I get too hot walking up there, and I'm too hot and sweaty when I get there to enjoy it and feel comfortable. But hopefully I've got it about right. If I pace myself just right, I can regulate my temperature enough that I won't be too hot, therefore I won't get too cold while we're standing outside, and I'll enjoy the evening. So if I do get any shots, and hopefully I'll get some video, I'll fix the phone onto the top of my camera while we're doing it, so you can see the shots that I get from the action that's happening. If I do get some shots, then they'll follow this intro. Shooting this was pretty much like photographing fireworks actually. It's long exposure, light trail photography. I've included videos of each spin of the wire wool to demonstrate just how the camera captures what the eyes can't see, and that's the trail of each light stream as it flies through the air. My camera settings were 10 seconds for the exposure, ISO was at 100, which is my lowest setting, and the aperture was at f3.5, but I did adjust that a little bit later to 4.5 just to reduce the exposure and brightness a little bit of the trails. Now, with 20 or more people lined up getting pretty much the same shots, I started thinking about how I could process images differently to what others may do beyond perhaps changing colours. And as you will see in a few examples, I got a little creative with layers and gradients that I applied in processing. These are just some examples. I may or may not come up with other ideas at some point in the future, but for now this was enough to completely overload my fibrosensitivity through screen time and just trying to concentrate and work out what I was doing. Let me know what you think in the comments. If you could give a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel, that would also be very much appreciated. So it's the morning after the wire wall shoot, and I thought I'd do an update with regards to how, just really what little activity it takes for fibro symptoms to ramp up. We spent just about an hour out standing in the cold. It was about 2-3 degrees last night. Clear skies, thankfully dry for doing this activity, yeah, as you've seen, some nice shots. It was just a sort of an experiential thing, nothing too creative, although I've had to play around with some of the images in colouring, etc. But this update is about the severe amount of pain and dysfunction that I'm now experiencing as a result of having a little social activity and time out doing something like that. I've said before that evenings are normally my time for winding down. I have this Wednesday evening where I go out and have a bit of social time. It's the one evening that I will tend to do that because it's my passion, my interest of photography, and like-minded friends. And most nights after I've been there, my nervous system is ramped up and I struggle to get to sleep. I do eventually, but my nervous system is overstimulated by the conversation, the walk there, the walk back that I do just to get my steps in, but which I know helps me wind down again for coming home. But the pain after last night of standing, I know standing makes or causes more discomfort in my spine, my neck, just standing still for any period of time, even just briefly. Movement is easier for me, which is why I take walks with the camera, shoot handheld, don't stand in one spot like I used to be able to do back in the days. But today it's like my spine is severely burnt. That's radiating out across my whole body, my legs, my arms, my neck. I've mentioned before that is connected to all of this and is exactly the same. It's also like it's severely bruised. It's like you've been sort of burnt, battered, run over. You know, if those of you with fibro will have seen this, these sorts of posts. But this is what somebody who is going through it after doing just a little bit of activity, this is what it's like. My coordination is off, coordinating my hands, my legs. I sat for a 15-minute meditation after stretching just to try and get moving this morning, and I couldn't get my legs to function afterwards. It's affecting my vision, which is why I've got my yellow lens glasses on today, and I'll be wearing those all day just to try and they just help calm down what's going on in my eyesight. I won't be processing pictures today. I won't be spending any time at all unless I have to on a screen too much or a laptop. Definitely not processing images. And just the effort to have conversation, to try and get the words to come out, it just really affects everything. So living with fibromyalgia, you still want to and should do stuff. Resting before an event doesn't necessarily help, but it's allowing somebody with fibro, or them, more importantly them allowing themselves to know what potentially the worst payback is going to be, and then accounting for that in the days that follow. And this will be days. On top of this, we've got another storm front bowling its way into the UK. 50-60 mile an hour winds in our part of the country, wet, intense low pressure, and that always impacts. So this is a double whammy for me. I know for a lot of my fibro friends as well that the weather is a major impact. So this is a real double whammy, and it just means that I am going to be out of commission for the next few days. I will try and get out for walks. It looks like the wind's going to drop off, just to move my body, get some steps in, get some fresh air. but not far. It'll just be round the block, it won't be far at all, 2,000-3,000 steps maybe, but it just means I get out rather than spending all day indoors. Especially, you can't see it here, but I'm looking out the window and it's dull, it's raining, and it's going to get worse than that over the next couple of days, and that all has an impact as well on affecting things. Hopefully in the next couple of days I'll be able to start sitting again and processing a couple of images at a time, but I just need to see how that goes. I'll be spending a lot of time with my eyes shut. I'll do some more meditations. It's just listening to my body, to my brain, and just trying to work out what I'm able to do without aggravating further the symptoms of just having an hour of activity yesterday evening. So yeah, that's life with fibro, but we keep pushing on. This is us pushing through, but every time we do something that might be a little bit more than we're used to, it just comes back with a vengeance. And however good your routine is in managing the day-to-day and keeping things on an even keel, something like the weather or just doing a little activity like last night, it just knocks you out. And it's hard to believe how high functioning and multitasking I was in the past, in my logistics career. Now it doesn't take much at all to wipe that away, but that you have to learn to accept, come to terms with, and work with it really, which is where my spiritual interest and practice comes in. Awareness, mindfulness, pacing myself, etc. Anyway, I think that's enough. That gives you an idea. Hope you enjoyed the video, and thanks for watching.